Hi friends, Jacqueline here hopping on. So I surrendered last year, maybe the year before, to making these videos. My own guidance has been telling me to make them. And I'm not necessarily comfortable in front of the camera. However, I am becoming more comfortable, and I have tried to find ways to quit this a dozen times. And every time I ask the universe to give me the answer that yes, it is my dharma to quit making the videos, I get the exact opposite answer. This year for my birthday, my daughter gave me this wonderful setup, the light and the microphone, and to make even better videos, pretty much right after I really demanded an answer from the universe. So here's my answer, and here I am making the videos. I want to talk about the energy kind of right now. So I talked about the themes of 2021 earlier. I did a video in January, and basically the theme was it wasn't going to be as hard as last year. It was going to be more uncomfortable than pure destruction. And that's been definitely a theme of this year, discomfort, and absolutely with regards to the full moon in Scorpio that passed last week. That thing was a motherfucker. It was so uncomfortable. I wanted to rip the skin off of my body. I just didn't even want to be present at all. And yet, really, the only truth is what exists in the present moment that we can perceive, right? So it was a real challenge to stay present and available to myself for that full moon in Scorpio. And I've heard from quite a few of you, and that seems to be a really universal thing. That was just a very rough full moon. And full moons in Scorpios typically are rough. They are by nature. And then this one had a couple of squares that made it harder. And then it happened in the early degrees of Scorpio, which means we were really in the energy for the entire 2.5 days of the full moon, of the moon sign. So you're not going crazy. That just really was, that was a rough one. And really it's always for our benefit. The movement of the planets are always for our benefit. There's always something to be gleaned. There are always gifts in every moment of every day of life. There are gifts. We have to work to see the gifts. We can default to suffering, and a lot of us do, and that's cool because some people's soul journey is to experience suffering, and maybe that soul needs to experience suffering over the course of many lifetimes before they're done, they're full of the experience of suffering, and now they can move on to the experience of not suffering and receiving the gifts. So no judgment on people who choose suffering at all. I personally feel like I've experienced suffering and am ready now to experience the high aspect of life, because life has a high and a low aspect in the 3D. So I want to talk a little bit about polarity versus duality. If we can think of the universal energy, God energy, undifferentiated energy, it's just energy, and it contains the seeds of everything that's ever existed, ever, and ever will exist, is the outpicturing of this energy expressing. I am an outpicturing of this energy expressing as this unique package of DNA and experience and lifetimes. You are an outpicturing of that same energy, experiencing itself through the unique signature of you. When this undifferentiated energy, the field of all possibility, people can feel it, I can feel it, and the more the energy shifts and changes on this planet, like now, more and more people are able to feel this energy. The undifferentiated field of all possibility where everything exists. in perfect form that we can then pull into our 3D experience. Anyway, this field of this energy, undifferentiated energy, potent, completely, nothing but potency and possibility, hits the fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension is the dimension overlaying the third dimension being the physical world, fourth dimension being the dimension of thought forms and emotional states. When that undifferentiated energy hits the fourth dimension acts as a kind of lens, and it divides that energy into positive and negative outcomes. That's where it happens, in the fourth dimension. And then we, as third dimensional creator beings, made of this energy, when we go into that thought form or those emotional states, if we're in duality, good, bad, right, wrong, high, low, cold, hot, if we're in duality, which we all unconsciously tend toward, we will be pulling from one side of this polarity or the other, right? When we reach for whatever the thing is, we will pull from one side or the other. I can do whatever I want. I'm a creator God, I can do whatever I want. That's one side of that polarity. I can't do anything. I'm pointless. What's the point of this? This will never happen for me. That's the other side of the same polarity. It's all polarity. No, I'm sorry, it's all duality. If we pull from one side or the other, we're in duality, this or that. Polarity is holding the entire field, this and that. This and that. So what that looks like in an everyday moment, I'll use one that my girlfriend experienced. My girlfriend, who's a body worker extraordinaire, really understands the body, professional body worker, teacher, movement professional. She is really into diaphragmatic breathing, and she put out a whole video about the benefits of diaphragmatic breathing. She was really proud of it, got a lot of good feedback. And then another person in her same industry that she respected put out a whole video about how diaphragmatic breathing was total crap. If she's in duality, either or, she can now feel like that video is worthless, what she put out worthless, because now it's been proven that diaphragmatic breathing is crap, and she doesn't know anything, right? This guy's right, she's wrong. Or if she works with the polarity, the understanding, overcoming duality and moving into polarity, where there is a whole pole of reality and truth that exists, and on this end of the pole, diaphragmatic breathing is pointless and of no benefit, and on this end of the pole, diaphragmatic breathing is amazing and so good for you. And every single little stop, all the infinite shades of gray in between these two poles, all are true. All are true. For some people, diaphragmatic breathing is the shit. It will heal them. It will cure them. It will change their life in every way. And for some people, diaphragmatic breathing is completely pointless. Doesn't work, not meaningful. All are true. So if we learn to hold the whole of that reality, the whole of that polarity, not collapsing our attention or our opinion onto one side or the other, it's good or it's bad, holding the whole thing. It's good for some people, it's bad for others. It's all true. Now we can begin to use the energy that moves between those poles, because that's what polarity is. It's the opposites of an energy field. An energy zings between these two poles. And you can use this energy, right? Because if you can hold the fullness of that pole in your body, literally just hold it. No opinion. This is true neutrality. Just like it's good and it's bad. And everything in between. And just sit with that. You will receive the energy that's zinging between these poles, and we can create with this energy. The human failing is we want to feel safe. We want closure. We want to know, we want answers. We want a solid position. So we just pick one. We pick a stop along this pole and we hook in, we believe it, that's our opinion. And now we're not moving at all. We're like hooked in, and there's no energy available to us except oppositional energy from the opposite position on that pole. And we're easily knocked off center. When someone puts out a video that says the opposite of what we said, we're like, oh shit, I was wrong. No. In polarity, everything is right. We all have different needs, different bodies, different experiences. It's all right for someone. Every stop along the way of that field is right for someone. We find where it's right for us. And we don't dig in to our right because our right is only right for us. We hold the whole polarity for humanity. This is polarity versus duality. There is no such thing as good and bad. Good exists, bad exists. Good things happen, terrible things happen. If we are in duality, we're really happy when good things happen, and we try to latch on and hold on and not let it go. And we're really upset and ruined when bad things happen. And we try to avoid and get rid of it Or we can stay in the non-dualistic, holistic polarity. Good things happen, bad things happen. Or rather than good and bad, let's say, things that feel amazing happen and things that feel shitty happen. Yeah. So on the days where things that feel amazing happen, wow, cool, this is awesome. What a day, woo! And on the days shitty things happen, yeah, it's one of those days. This feels shitty. I'm just gonna sit here and be in this and hold this, yep. Sit in my, as Glennon Doyle says, sit in my, what is it called? What does she say? My hot, whatever, my hot discomfort, my hot loneliness. I'm just gonna sit here and feel the shittiness of this. And I'll move through it, just allowing it to be here. Yeah, there it is. That feels like shit. Yeah, I'm really uncomfortable. I'm not gonna check out. I'm not gonna avoid. However, if I have the opportunity to feel better by any amount, I'm going to take it. I'm going to reach for the highest thought that I can reach for in this moment. So on a day when the shit's hitting the fan and it's not great and you're just sitting, hot loneliness, you're sitting in your hot loneliness and your husband hands you a smoothie, stop everything and receive that smoothie. It's delicious. It's nutritious. It was made for you. It's wonderful. Receive that. Don't miss that because the day is shitty. Use that to inject a little goodness into an otherwise shitty day. Go outside, stand on the ground, close your eyes and feel the sun on your face. Take a couple of deep breaths. Feeling the ground from your feet up, pulling the energy of the ground up, pulling the energy from the sun, breathing. Take every opportunity. We as humans have unlimited tools to feel better, but it doesn't mean that we can bypass the shitty days. This is a polarity universe. There are good feeling days, there are bad feeling days. This is life on earth. And if you get really good at this and you really appreciate the good feeling days, and you enter into a constant conversation with that undifferentiated energy that a lot of people call God, you can be in those days when everything feels so good. You can be in this conversation with this energy, which is just a mirror. It's only there to receive your desire and create it and mirror it back to you. You can tell it, wow, I really like this. This is amazing. I would like to experience more of this. Thank you. And you'll get more of that. If on the shitty days you go down a hole, this sucks, my life is awful, this is the worst thing ever, I can't, you're also telling that mirror of the undifferentiated energy, because you're placing all your attention on it, you're also telling the mirror more of this. So the trick is, on the good days, celebrate. Don't hook in. It's, wow, thank you. More, please. On the bad days, yeah, today's that day. Uncomfortable. I would like to experience less of this. That's it. And when problems arise, if you hook into the problem, you will only create more problems. I have friends who had a situation at their house that they had to fix. It was a big issue and they got it fixed, and it took a lot of time. It was very disruptive to their home life and it cost a lot of money. And the solution did fix the initial problem, but it created an even bigger problem. The solution they came up with created a bigger problem. If they wallow in that failure, they are not going to come up with the perfect solution that will solve all of the problems. They cannot reach it from where they're at. It exists. All solutions exist because that field of undifferentiated energy contains everything. So every single problem has a perfect solution. It exists alongside the problem. The problem wouldn't exist without it. It can't. It's polarity. It's a polarity system. The only way, though, that we can reach for that highest solution is from a place of polarity, seeing the whole spectrum of possibility and saying, oh, that stunk, that one stunk, that solution didn't work. And go through that whole cycle. Finish the creation cycle of that. That was a creation cycle. It didn't work. So do whatever you need to mourn that bad decision or that bad solution. That sucked. It didn't work. I learned something. I'm letting it go. And then let it go. Really, truly let it go energetically. Put it like we bury the dead. Bury it. Didn't work. Take what you learned from it. Go back into that neutrality where you can see all the solutions. And then let the best solution arise. You can tell that undifferentiated energy in this conversation that we're constantly having, whether you know it or not, you're constantly having a conversation with it. You can tell it, that didn't work. Show me the perfect solution. Bring me the perfect solution. Let me be open enough to hear it and receive it. Send me the perfect people to put it into play. I'm here. I'm ready. Thank you. And then hold the energy of that. This is how we create. We're creating every minute with every thought. Every thought gets sent out and received by that field of all possibility. And the reason that we're not very good creators anymore in the 3D is because we don't understand that our thoughts create, and we're constantly contradicting our thoughts. One day we like this, one day we hate it. We don't have any real gauge of what's true for us because we do not understand the power of words. So we throw them around. We say things we don't mean. This is death to creation, saying what you don't mean. So the rough energy that has been the first 4 months of 2021 is going to smooth out a little bit in May. Be aware that because of what's going on Earth in this time, new energy is coming onto this planet, new thought forms. We are getting more and more ability to be in that field of all possibility, to feel more of that field, to understand our true nature, what this reality is, what creation is. We have more and more ability to create from wholeness. So it's really, really important that you understand that with every thought, you're in conversation with God. So make it conscious conversation. Talk all the time. Get really clear about what you want. When you go to set goals, which maybe you're doing at the full moon, or at the new moons, you're planting seeds, right? Setting goals. Make sure that it's really what you want. Ask yourself, if I could have this right now, fully manifested, would I want it? Would I want it? And the answer for me, quite often when I do this, the answer is no. Hell no. Oh my God, no, I don't want that. I'm just used to the idea. Something I wrote in journals years ago when I wasn't quite as awake as I am now. Those ideas stuck, and I keep thinking that's what I want. But now from this awakened place, when I imagine it fully formed, and in my life it's like, oh, no, thank you. So follow the thread. Get cleaner. What is it that you really want? So perfect example for this is 10 years ago, when I was in a priestess program, and we did a lot of visioning. And what always came forward for me in that visioning is I want to be a teacher. I want to teach people, a spiritual teacher, a coach, whatever the thing was. And that just became a default of mine. I want to be a spiritual teacher. I want to have students. I want to be a mentor, because that's what I was doing then. I liked it. So that's kind of been a default of creation with me. And when I ask myself, if you could have this fully formed, that I am like a sought after spiritual teacher, I realize, oh no, I hate when I get a lot of texts and phone calls and people calling and wanting my attention. It's one of my least favorite things. So that's not what I want. So when I followed the thread of what is it that I actually want, I want to be of service. This is what I want. I want my life to be meaningful in helping others. Now new doorways open. Now I'm beginning to formulate what that might look like. So really be very careful with what it is that you're asking for. Make sure that you are down to the root of it. Put yourself through a process. Get to the root of it. Those are the seeds you plant. I think that's it. I love you. See you out there.